Hey everyone, I'm Mace, and this is The Watch Game. Watches and wonders came and went. I am generally very disappointed by what Rolex does during Watches and Wonders Week, and that's because they don't really do anything all that remarkable. This year though, Rolex introduced a new model, the Land Dweller. While all of the watch journalists are going overboard with this misfit of a watch, I think there is a hidden gem amongst the Rolex novelties this year. Today we're looking at what might be the most elegant timepiece in Rolex's lineup in years. Yet surprisingly, it's one watch that's flying under the radar with most watch collectors. This year's Rolex 1908 comes in yellow gold with a matching mesh bracelet. This watch represents something of a departure for the brand known mostly for its robust tool watches. And, in my opinion, it's a return to an era of refinement and sophistication that deserves your attention. The 1908 takes its name from the year Hans Wilsdorf registered the Rolex trademark. But its aesthetic draws heavily from the elegant dress watches of the 1960s and 70s. If you've ever browsed vintage dealers like Goldhammer, you'll recognize the design language immediately. Slim, refined gold cases paired with supple mesh bracelets that wrapped comfortably around the wrist. Goldhammer specializes in these vintage pieces, and the similarities between their curated collection and this striking new offering from Rolex is a reminder of a more sophisticated past. During this golden age of watchmaking before the quartz crisis, these weren't statement pieces or status symbols, they were simply elegant companions for life's occasions. The 1908 channels this ethos beautifully, offering a refreshing alternative to the predominantly tool-oriented catalog we've grown accustomed to. Let's take a look at what makes this watch so special. The 39mm yellow gold case strikes a perfect balance. Substantial enough for modern taste, while maintaining a slim profile at just 9.5mm thick. The dial is a masterclass in restraint. It is described by Rolex as intense white. It has applied gold hour markers and razor-thin hands that seem to float above the surface. The small seconds at 6 o'clock adds a touch of vintage character. There is also a black dial variant. I will say it is a shame that Rolex seems to have abandoned the guilloche dial from the blue 1908 last year. But the real star undoubtedly is this golden mesh bracelet, a feature that completely transforms the wearing experience. Unlike the Oyster or Jubilee bracelets that dominate Rolex's collection, this mesh construction brings a level of sophistication rarely seen in modern watches. Reports are that it is supremely comfortable and drapes elegantly around the wrist, secured by a folding crown clasp that integrates seamlessly into the design. This bracelet harkens back to an era where people dressed elegantly for every occasion, when boarding a plane or train meant wearing your finest attire. It's this attention to refined details that elevates the 1908 from simply being another gold watch to becoming a statement about one's appreciation for horological heritage. What's remarkable is how the 1908 avoids the typical slab-sided case construction seen across most of Rolex's professional models. Instead, we get gentle curves, polished surfaces, and a sophistication that feels almost un-Rolex-like, yet unmistakably luxurious. Inside beats the 7140, a manual wind movement that reinforces the traditional nature of this timepiece. It's certified as a superlative chronometer, delivering the plus and minus 2 seconds per day accuracy you'd expect. The power reserve extends up to 72 hours, and the movement is protected by multiple patents. The decision to use a manual winding caliber rather than an automatic speaks to the heritage inspiration. A thoughtful nod to an era when winding your watch was a daily ritual. What's fascinating is how the 1908, introduced just last year, stands apart within Rolex's lineup. While the Datejust and Day-Date offer dressier alternatives to the sports models, they still maintain that distinctly modern Rolex DNA. The 1908, however, feels like it exists in its own category. Neither heritage reissue nor modern interpretation, but something wholly unique. At approximately $35,000, One might argue that this piece is positioned squarely in the luxury dress watch segment, competing with pieces from Patek Philippe, Vacheron, Constantin, and other high-end manufacturers. Yet it brings that unmatched Rolex reliability and brand prestige to the table. So the question of the hour: why aren't more people talking about this watch? Perhaps because it doesn't fit neatly into what we've come to expect from Rolex? It doesn't have the tool watch heritage of the Submariner or the iconic status of the Daytona? But that's precisely what makes it special. In a market obsessed with sports models and wait lists, the 1908 represents something more timeless. A return to watchmaking as an art rather than a status symbol. The mesh bracelet alone deserves recognition. A feature that transforms not just how the watch feels, but how it's perceived. It evokes memories of a more glamorous age of travel when a fine timepiece was part of a carefully considered ensemble. Just browse through vintage watch dealers that highlight golden pieces from the 60s and 70s, and you'll understand the historical significance of this design choice. For those who appreciate subtlety, who understand that true luxury whispers rather than shouts, the 1908 yellow gold offers something increasingly rare: genuine elegance without compromise. Since its introduction last year, the Rolex 1908 has not been generating the same type of hype as its sportier siblings. But for the discerning watch collector, that might be its biggest strength. It's a watch that speaks to Rolex's rich history while carving out its own identity, one defined by refinement rather than robustness. So what do you think of the 1908? Is this elegant direction something you'd like to see Rolex do more of? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. If you really enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.